Hello and welcome to the first edition of the weekly outlook for the next week. This is the first one, so it will be a little longer because I will do a top-down analysis from the monthly charts down to the 4-hour for EurUsd, GbpUsd, AudUsd and GbpJpy. Those four pairs are the one that I trade the most, and all subsequent editions of the weekly outlook should be a little bit shorter since the monthly and the weekly charts don't change so often. All chart analysis will be done with smart money concepts. And let's jump to the first chart, EurUsd. So let's jump on the first chart for EurUsd. This is the data that I have on the monthly chart. And let's start with this big swing up. All the subsequent price action, so from July 2008 should be considered as a pullback. Let's put the FIB from the high and from the low to the high, and we see that the price reached the discounted price area below the 50% retrace, and this lowest point here took liquidity from these two lows here, so we can mark the top. Okay, and we have a beautiful liquidity trend line from above all these tops here. Okay. The assumption is that the price took liquidity with the big swing up from these three lows here, so from here, and the final bit of liquidity with what I've already showed. So this is liquidity down, the swing down took this liquidity, big consolidation, swap of liquidity, and now swing up, swing down that didn't make a lower low, swing up that didn't make a higher high, still lower high, so some sort of price compression, and now we are going down. Based on what I see on the monthly, I can expect the price to slowly go lower below this low. So this would be an induced buy low, which have liquidity. We'll tap in an OB down here, and from here we'll go up. This is a monthly chart, very long term, so let's switch to the weekly and see what's here. Okay, the last swing that didn't break any external structure, so we are still in the range of this swing low and this swing high, a slow pullback and a quicker up move that didn't broke this high, and now a pretty quick down move here. So if we take the FIB from this swing low to this swing high, we can see that the price came into the discounted price area, and now it is going up. Most likely the first target should be this weekly supply zone here with imbalance below. So I will mark the imbalance still open from this week low now to this week high. Let's like boss and just change the text. So imbalance 1 week chart. Okay, and this last buy to sell is considered an order block, and this entire area here from this low to this high is considered a supply zone. So here we have the supply zone, the weekly imbalance still open, and we also have a lot of liquidity below these lows here. So one candle low, second, third, fourth and fifth candle, weekly candle low that are still open. So a ton of liquidity here. Did the up move here took liquidity? No, it didn't. It took liquidity from the down move, took liquidity just from this low and this low here, and obviously all candles here. So this high, yes, it took liquidity from this high here, but eventually tapped into an order block up here, and the price went lower. So on the weekly basis, I'm expecting price to tap at least this weekly supply. So supply 1 week to then go lower. Now most likely, let's see what's on the daily chart. Yeah, and engulfing candle. So maybe the start of the week will be bearish, maybe just to fill the imbalance here, so daily imbalance here, to then go higher into the weekly supply zone, and from here I'm expecting the price to go lower. If we break this high here, then we have more bullish momentum, and we can hit at least the 50% retrace of this move down to get into the premium zone above the 50% of this swing down. So for the next week, there is this 4-hour OB here. So down move before the up move that broke structure. Let's mark this as a break of structure. And let's mark this candle as an order block. From which we could expect some buys. So 4H OB order block. Since the bullish momentum is pretty strong, there's could be some reaction from this order block to go higher. Depends how quick the down move will happen. will it make some internal range liquidity before tapping here, or it will just go directly here. If it will go just directly here, we could expect just a slight reaction, so something like this. This is an option. Down move, slight up move, and then mitigation of an lower OB, or this one here, or this one here, to then go higher. So it depends what the price will do, but I will be looking for buys in this zone or in this zone. Depends on how the price develops during Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And yeah, the target for the upside is, of course, at least this imbalance from the weekly and the tap into the supply zone, weekly supply zone. So this is the weekly outlook for EU. And now let's see what we have on GbpUsd. Okay, let's look on the monthly chart for GU. What we have here is two big pushes down. The first one, the second one. So if you take the fib for the first one, the price didn't get into the premium zone, but before the second push down, it built a liquidity from the trend line here. Also, before the push up, took liquidity from those equal lows. And on the push down, it took liquidity from this low, and this low. We can mark it like this also. Okay, like this. Then the impulsive leg down, another fib. The price also did not retrace into the premium zone. A pullback into this weekly, monthly supply zone, push down, created roughly equal lows, the liquidity grab with this wick. The monthly candle didn't close below the lows. Now it created roughly equal highs here, a slight push down, push up to take liquidity, and now reacted from some OB up here and created some sort of equal highs up here. So what we have left is liquidity from this high this high here, this high here, and of course this high here. Okay, this is all the liquidity left, and with this push down it took liquidity from these roughly equal lows here. Okay, I will just group all these drawings into a monthly group. So I can easily hide it like this. Let's switch to the weekly. Okay, so this was the last swing high. We didn't manage to break above this high here, and yeah, the last 1 to 4 weeks it was a big push up. Now we can take a trend line from the entire move up down like this, expecting maybe the price to tap into the discounted area below the 50% retrace, or at the 50%. There is a weekly demand zone here, so from this high to this low. But now on the daily internal structure, the 4-hour is bullish, and let's focus on what we have here. So this push down took liquidity from this low and created some roughly equal lows here. But the nearest liquidity to be taken out is from this trend line liquidity here. So there's liquidity, buy side liquidity here, imbalance here. So we can also mark the imbalance from this week. Imbalance 1 week. To here. Okay, this is the imbalance zone and the liquidity. So my idea is to head in the next week maybe a little retrace, maybe just to close the imbalance. As you can see from the previous candles, this week closed the imbalance down, this week closed the imbalance here. So I'm expecting the same thing to happen this week. So to close the imbalance and to push higher into this zone and an OB up here, to then take the price lower. So this is the imbalance left open. Let's just move it a little bit here. So no, like this. So imbalanced on the weekly. And yeah, let's group these drawings into the weekly group. so we can hide it whenever we want. Let's switch to the daily. Again, this is the on order block, so the last sell to buy with the weekly imbalance that was from here. Okay. So yeah, 2 days down and maybe back up, or maybe even a little lower to this doji-like candle here. There is imbalance also on a daily from this week to this week, and still imbalance from this week to this week here. Liquidity above all these highs, and also this high here, and the weekly imbalance left open up here. So this is the daily, nothing to draw here. Let's go on the 4 hour. And on the 4 hour, we have 2 order blocks for potential targets. So this is the first one here, the buy to sell that broke structure and left imbalance, and some imbalance still open. So let's mark it as a bullish order block. OB 4H, and this is the next one. Okay, now for the trade plan. Let's see, maybe just closing the imbalance here. So on market open, a bullish action to close the imbalance, then a down move to this OB, a slightly pullback, making inducement for buys, a pullback to this zone here, and up. So let's mark also this imbalance here. Imbalance on the 4 hour. And what could potentially happen? Up to this imbalance, closing the imbalance, down to the 4 hour OB, a slightly pullback or even higher pullback. Down this OB, maybe just closing the weekly imbalance, and continuation up. So the main trades that I will look would be buy from here or from here. It depends on how the price will develop. So this is the weekly outlook for GU. Let's move on. Okay, we are on the monthly chart for an Aussie dollar. What we have here is 2 impulses up. The first one, a quick pullback. The second one, and now we are having a deeper pullback. This week mitigated this monthly OB here, or it tapped into this demand zone, monthly demand zone here. We can also mark it out. demand on monthly. And now we didn't breach this high here. The price reversed. So I will be mostly looking for sells into the premium zone here. This block here, so this buy to sell could be a breaker block. So before this buy to sell that broke this structure here, or even something lower. So this is the monthly. Let's again group the drawings, not much, but let's group it. And we can hide it. Okay, let's go to the weekly. And yes, let's mark again this swing up. So if we disregard what happened here, like this is a swing up, an impulsive move, and now slowly pull back. And yes, I'm expecting more bearish action. So this last wick candle wicked through these equal highs here. Wicked through these equal highs here, took 2 weeks liquidity, and it's going back down. And I'm expecting continuation on the bearish side here. What we have in terms of demand zone, there is this demand zone here on the weekly, and this is a potential swing low target on the 4-hour or the daily. So let's mark this zone here. Demand weekly. This high just took liquidity from here and tapped into an order block here. There is still open imbalance up here, but for now I'm not interested in that imbalance, since this is a weekly pullback, and I'm expecting at least to test some daily OB here before eventually going back up. So let's group these two things on the weekly. And I will leave it for now. Let's switch to the daily. Okay, there was this bearish structure here that was confusing for a lot of traders, but as you can see, the first push up took liquidity from these highs here, okay? Then the retrace tapped into an order block here, maybe this entire sell to buy. It didn't close the imbalance. then another sharp push up, and a sharp push down. Because there was no internal liquidity on this move up, and there was no internal liquidity on this move up, it took both those lows as external liquidity, and it went lower. Now, this is a slow pullback, creating internal liquidity. So the liquidity was from this double bottom here, liquidity, sell side liquidity, so down, and here, and now we tapped into this daily supply zone here. So let's mark it up also, this daily supply zone here. And after tapping this daily supply, a sharp move down. The move up took liquidity from these equal highs here. We will see on the 4 hour and also this high here. And where's the liquidity resting below? Well, below all these daily candles lows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and eventually 6 here. So now let's group this on a daily. Sorry for the spelling. Okay, and we can leave it. We can just lock it, all of it. And yeah, let's go to the 4 hour. Okay, and now we can see this move up took liquidity from this high here and these highs here. And now it's pushing down. And the resting liquidity is below this low, this low, and this low here, and this lows here, and all these lows here to this one here. And yeah, if it's going straight down, I'm not expecting any strong bullish action. If it's going like this, it will continue to drop. Potential entries for going short. Well, the price has to develop to see what will give, but on the first zone could be so this week to week supply. So we can mark this week to week supply. And there's a different time frame order block here. So the buy to sell that took these lows. Also this week up here took liquidity from this high. So the move up took liquidity from this high and another push up from here. And there's a certain order block here, and there's imbalance left here. So eventually the up move, so the retrace could go up to this imbalance to close the imbalance, or just half the way somewhere here, or this supply could be enough to then drive the price lower. So let's mark just this imbalance here. And this is also imbalance left open from this week to this week here. Imbalance 4 hour. Okay. And yeah, that's it. So there's also an order block here. So we could see if there will be a complex pullback, then maybe something like this could happen to then pull the price lower. Just let's mark this order block here. For potential sells, so a red one, OB. I will not mark it as on 4 hour OB because more clear OB could be found on other time frame, and what could happen is up to this supply, this order block here or some order block here, another push up here to close the imbalance, and down move. So again, first 2 days of the week could be bullish or just selling down. We will see what will happen. So this is the AUD-USD analysis. So let's move on to the final one, GJ, so GbpJpy. And okay, we are on the monthly chart. The main swing down is this, from a higher high to a lower low, and then another slow push down a little lower, and an impulsive move up to make the pullback. Another move down that did not break structure, so it is higher low, and this wick down that took liquidity from this low and this low here to make a potential bullish action. This pullback came into the premium zone of this swing down, most likely yes. Let's see. I remarked just this, or even this, it's the same in terms that the price reached the premium zone, just tapped into this supply before the break of structure. So this here was a break of structure, and this was a change of character here. Oh, damn it. Okay. Oh, I should have the right one. Yeah, okay. So break of structure, change of character, the pullback into the premium, just tapping this supply zone. Let's mark it up. Supply monthly. The impulsive move down. Slowly going down, taking liquidity, now going up. This up move took liquidity from all these highs here. And we will see it better on a weekly time frame. So let's group this into the monthly drawing. And let's hide it for now. Also lock. And let's go to the weekly. So this was an impulsive move down. Inducement, liquidity grab from this low and this low, a move up. Inducement, grab of liquidity from this high, and what's left open is liquidity down here, and a potential move down to grab this liquidity. Although the price didn't reach the premium zone, if we take the FIB tool and mark it from high to low here, you see, didn't reach the premium yet. But on the other hand, I believe that after this grab of liquidity here, from this guy here, so this entire move up grabbed liquidity from this high, this high, this high, this high, these highs, this high, induced sells, take all those sells out, came up, took out liquidity from this high, a sharp move down, now a sharp move up that for now did not break this high, so we have a lower high here. And since there is more liquidity down here than up there, I'm expecting the move down. Of course, it could go higher to make a deeper mitigation of this weekly supply zone. So let's mark the weekly supply zone. Okay, let's be consistent. And also a FIB from this low to this high here for now. Okay, like this. So there is an order block down here before the move up and the break of structure. So this would be if the price breaches this low, a target for a down move potential. And yeah, what we have left I will show you on the daily. So let's switch to the daily. Just before switching, let's group these two weekly. And hide it and lock it for now. And let's go down to the daily chart. Okay. So not going too far there. Trend line liquidity here. Liquidity up. The take of this liquidity and also the other liquidity from this high here. So this is important. I will mark it up, and I will mark it up on the weekly chart just for a moment. Okay, so like this, and let's put it the plate liquidity up so we know what we are talking about, and let's just move this from the center to the right. And now we can go back to daily. So now you see this move up, took liquidity from all these highs, and the previous high on weekly moved down in 2 legs. So drop, base, drop. This base functioned just for liquidity. So on the move up, it took liquidity from this high, and now the daily action is rejection from these highs and potential move down. So we reached this order block here. So the last sell to buy with imbalance mitigated 50% reaction from there, and there's still a little of imbalance open here, and still some imbalance left open from this week to this week here, and from this week to the daily close here. And yes, this price action here could be just dropping down to take all the liquidity down here. So let's mark this liquidity that's left open on the bottom. So the first one is here. Sell side liquidity. Then the second one is here. Another low is here, just slightly lower. Then another low is this one here. And then what we have still open. Okay, the nearest low is then here. Okay, so there's a ton of liquidity below these lows. Yes, I'm expecting the price to go lower. It doesn't have to. I will follow the price if I see switch of trend of any of these daily poses here. I could go easily bullish, but for now I'm bearish down. So let's this group us daily. And we'll keep it visible, just locking locking it. Okay, and now we will go on the 4 hour, or I will go on the 4 hour. So this is the break of structure, a slight pullback. Now we could easily go down from this OB here. So this is the last buy to sell that broke structure, or yeah, broke structure. And just going down from here, or the price could go a little bit higher, close some imbalance for our imbalance here, mitigate this order block here. So the last, the obvious last buy to sell that broke structure here. And yeah, let's mark it up. So we are having a bearish order block here. OB 4 hour and some imbalance here, imbalance on the 4 hour, and that's it. As I said, all this swing up was an aggressive buy to take some liquidity and mitigate the order block here to drive the price lower. This is my perception of the price, and what we'll do, I will be looking for sells, or just from this OB here that has been already mitigated, or bullish action to take liquidity from these highs, these two highs, or a bullish action to this OB here. If the bullish action will be aggressive, then most likely we will breach this high and continue to go higher. If the pullback will be slow, so a two-day pullback that will leave some internal liquidity from the pullback, and then the move down. Let's also mark this OB here, although it's already mitigated. Now I can just take this one, okay, here to here. Okay, yeah, and that's it for the analysis. Hope you enjoy it, make something of it, trade at your own risk. This is only my view, how I perceive the price, and yeah, if you like the video, you know what to do. And if you want to be informed on the next videos, you also know what to do. Until the next one, bye bye.